This is a really short video. I want to do one slide on the contradictions in atheist thinking, the contradictions between atheist thinkers, philosophers, scientists. I have to ask, is contradiction scientific? We're discussing here a very famous philosopher called Ernest Nagel. He was part of a series of writers who wrote this book, The Critiques of God, making the case against the belief in God. This is not just a lack of belief. This is an active series of arguments to demonstrate the superiority of atheism, why Christianity is false, why atheism is true. So I guess these are not real atheists because they don't just have a lack of belief. A different copy of the book, a different cover, has a major statement of the case against belief in God. Again, these are not real atheists. I think atheists need to get together, especially the lay atheists, the lay YouTube comment atheists need to get together and explain to these PhDs, professors of philosophy, editors of atheist journals, editors of philosophical journals, these major scientists, how incorrect they are and how only those in the YouTube comments have any knowledge. Please get on that, guys. Let's have a look. I must begin by stating what sense I'm attaching to the word atheism. A critique and a denial of the major claims of all varieties of theism. Again, not a lack of belief, a denial, a verb. Several things immediately follow from these definitions. In the first place, atheism is not necessarily an irreligious concept, for theism is just one among many views concerning the nature and origin of the world. I had an atheist come on my channel and actually swear at me recently because I called atheism a worldview. Well, if you have a view of the world with God and someone else has a view of the world without God, there are consequences of those ideas that there is a God or there is no God. There are implications for morals, for law, for behavior. But apparently I'm wrong, although this highly qualified scientist and professional academic, he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about because he's saying the same thing I said. But notice, atheism is not necessarily an irreligious concept. So it is a form of religious thinking. The denial of theism is logically compatible with a religious outlook upon life, and is in fact characteristic of some of the great historical religions. Early Buddhism is a religion which does not subscribe to any doctrine about a god. Buddha was an atheist. Buddhism is considered a religion. Denial of theism is a religious outlook upon life. That's a worldview. There are pantheistic religions and philosophies which, because they deny that God is a being separate from and independent of the world, are not theistic in the sense above. So you have non-theistic religions like atheism. This is very interesting here. Atheism is not to be identified with sheer unbelief, this lack of belief, or with disbelief in some particular creed of a religious group, because atheism was founded specifically as an anti-Christian doctrine, specifically directed at the Christian church. Thus, a child who has not received religious instruction and has never heard about God is not an atheist, for he is not denying any theistic claims. This tells us that atheists specifically deny theistic claims, which means they are making a case, they have an argument, they've reached a conclusion, they're taking a position, they've done some analyses, and they've now formed an idea that says, okay, no, I reject God because of X, Y, and Z. This goes against the common claim. Let's have a look at a different book published in the same period, an anthology of atheism and rationalism. They speak here of Baron de Holbach, who wrote the first openly atheistic book, The System of Nature, in 1770. He defined atheism in this way. He wrote in his book, Good Sense, 1772, all children are atheists. They have no idea of God. Children who have not been exposed to theism being by definition atheists. This follows from our definition of an atheist as someone without a belief in God. This means my toaster, my wallet, my watch, the cat next door, the pigeons, the budgies in your neighbor's yard, the alligators in the swamp are all atheists. So atheism has now become the world's fastest growing religion. Every grain of sand is an atheist. Children who have not been exposed to theism being by definition atheists. Again, how does that gel with this contradictory definition by Nagel? A child who has not received religious instruction and has never heard about God is not an atheist, or is not denying any theistic claims. He goes on to say that indifference is not atheism. He says, similarly, in the case of an adult who, if he has withdrawn from the faith of his fathers without reflection or because of frank indifference to any theological issue, is also not an atheist. For such an adult is not challenging theism and is not professing any views on the subject. So the Church of Atheism has these set of opposing views. They're contradictory. So maybe the atheist congregation can explain to us who's right, but we know which one they'll pick because they want to inflate their numbers. Thank you. I'll catch you guys in the next live stream. Goodbye.